Hello, everyone. Welcome to Let's Talk News, and it is Sunday, October 19th, on Josephine's birthday weekend. So if I seem rushed, it's because I am. We just had a wonderful birthday dinner for Mom. And we raced back here so that I could be with you. And I couldn't imagine a better way to spend a Sunday than first with my family and now with my family on Let's Talk News. So thank you all for joining us. We've got a decent show today. I mean, the big deal is tariffs, right? Trump and tariffs. What is that going to do to the country? Hello, Francine. Good to have you with us. Thank you so much for joining us. So the whole world is waiting with bated breath as to what is going to happen with the Trump tariffs and how is that going to affect America. And it boggles my mind. This weekend we had the No Kings protest across the country, and somehow or another, these organized protesters seem to think that having these ridiculous protests are going to somehow undermine President Trump, and they're just not. And what also makes me laugh is that these protesters, if you have a conversation with them about what's going on in the UK, and what they think about the UK, they're going to tell you that the UK is miles ahead of America on everything, on their form of government and everything else. And then you can remind them that the United Kingdom has a king, and that Denmark has a king or a queen. Now it's a king, I think, and Sweden. There's so many countries that they point to as being better than America, and they all have kings. So, Canada, right? Parts of Canada falls under King George and the UK. So it's all crazy. Hello, Colleen. Happy birthday, Josephine. Yes, indeed. So thank you. I don't know if she's going to be on because she was stuffed. We went to eat at La Trattoria in Murals Inlet, which is just absolutely a fantastic place. Emilio, the chef, is, I believe, from Sardinia. Just excellent Sicilian food. If ever you're in the area, you should certainly try it. La Trattoria on Business 17. Is today No Kings and No Queens Day? Well, isn't that, yeah. This weekend is supposed to be No Kings, but there were plenty of queens at those protests for sure. But again, the hypocrisy of the left is that they think that this is going to somehow get them to win elections. And listen, I'm not going to say that they haven't. They've won a couple of special elections, and that frightens me greatly. And it looks like they're well on their way to electing a socialist in New York City, and also in where's the other one? Minnesota. So I don't know. Thinking people would say that they're crazy and that they don't know what they're talking about, especially since, financially speaking, they have no grasp of reality. Governmentally speaking, they have no grasp of reality. They don't understand what democracy really is. They don't understand what a republic is, and they definitely don't know what socialism is and what it does to destroy the middle class. And they may learn the hard way by actually getting some people elected. So it really scares me a little bit. Let's see. The Staten Island protest had 600 people, and it looked like they emptied the nursing homes to attend. Yeah, a lot of old people. Protests were a great success. Still no kings in America, lol. That's very good, Kelly. Where's my bell? Excellent. Yes, still no kings in America. But in all the other countries, they revere, right? There are plenty of kings. All right, well, but today the conversation is going to go to China, right? That's what we want to talk about, and the tariffs, because we hear over and over again how the tariffs are going to destroy America. And I say it's the opposite. Leticia, what do you think of our president commuting Santos? I think it was terrible. And I'll take a minute to talk about that for a little bit. Here's the thing, okay? I thought that Congress should have never thrown Santos out. I thought that was a big mistake because he had not yet been convicted of anything. And to take away a vote was just dumb. It was dumb. And there was no good reason for it. And it wound up, they lost that seat. They lost that seat. And now it's being held by a Democrat, Tom Suozzi, and they're never going to get it back. They're never going to get it back because Tom Suozzi was a moderate, and people from both sides of the aisle liked him. So when what's his face, the former speaker who I don't like, got rid of him, I thought that was a huge mistake, and I said so at the time. However, Santos is a problem. I have firsthand accounts with Santos, and I will tell you that what I witnessed were the things that he was convicted of. And, it is not good. He's a liar. He's delusional, and he does not have a grasp of, laws and campaign finance. So it's a problem. Trump commuting his sentence, I don't think was smart. I think that there was nothing that Trump would gain out of it, right? And nothing that Santos would gain out of it or anybody else. I don't think that it helped Santos to repent because honestly, I don't think that he has a moral compass. So I'm just not sure why he did it. I was on Staten Island Politics today, and I asked Dem liberals what they were protesting. One woman told me to watch TikTok. Is that video before or after the Tide Pod eating contest? Yeah. I don't know what they're protesting, and I don't think they know what they're protesting. I think that at this point, it really is Trump derangement syndrome. But see, here's what they don't understand. Oh, hello, Andrew Dorman. Good to have you. See, the difference between Trump 2.0 and Trump's first term was the first term, he could still be reelected, right? So their impeachments and their Russiagate and their investigations and all of that was designed to stop him from being reelected and gaining a second term. And they were successful. If you believe the outcome of that election was fair and above board, then they were successful. Either way, they were successful, right? Whether they played games with the votes or not, they were successful. They besmirched him. They gave lots of reasons not to vote for him. Now that he was reelected in such a big way, especially, but even if he didn't win the popular vote, even if he didn't get the majority of states, even if he didn't get any of that, this is his last term. So anything that they do is not going to result in anything except for what they think is the 2026 elections. They think that somehow they will be able to get Congress and then make him impotent for his second 2 years. Will that happen? I don't know. Hi, Cookie. Good to have you. Okay, Cookie was at Mom's birthday dinner. She got it on her phone. I'm so glad. Hello, Gloria. Thank you for joining us today. So everything that they're doing to Trump is to kind of try and stop the Republicans from controlling the House and the Senate in the midterms. I just don't know that what they're doing is exactly how to do it. I think that they would be smarter if they were running more moderate people. I would think that they would be smarter if they didn't have primaries in their own party. I think that they do better that way. But, I don't know. I don't know. I will tell you that I'm a little bit perplexed at what the young people are thinking these days, because it blows my mind that we're going to have a socialist mayor in New York City. Demonstration of contrition and compunction, the fundamental pillar of Christian religion. Well, you're talking about Santos? Yeah, but I don't believe that I don't think that he has contrition. I just don't. Hi, Joe. Good to have you. 4 years of Biden, and we did was an FJB chant. We saved our energy for the vote. Yes, we did. The thing is that I just don't know what these kids are thinking right now. They think the Democrat machine and the globalists and the cabal who have been dogging Trump since the time he came down the escalator. I think that they think that this demonstration is the right way to go, because they believe that what they did with George Floyd won them the 2020 election. Like I said, I don't believe that. I think that what's come out now about the 2020 election, what's come out now about January 6th, what's come out now about the FBI, about Obama, about all of them, is very, very telling. The thing is it getting across? And now we've seen Joe Rogan actually dogging Trump a little bit about, going after the illegal migrants. And, did Trump lose the support of the moderates like Rogan or the independents? Absolutely true that they screwed Trump at every turn in his first term. He is a lot less combative, less bombastic, less hyperbolic this term. That's right, Howard Zim. That's absolutely right. Hi, Ramon. Good to have you with us. Thank you. Demonstration does not have the burden of proof. No, it doesn't. It doesn't have the burden of proof. Hello, Victoria. How are you? Good to have you with us. Oh, look, and Mommy's here. Everybody say happy birthday to Mommy. I would sing the happy birthday song, but I'll get a violation for copyright if I do. Hello, happy birthday, Mom. I can sing it to a different tune. Happy, happy birthday. Happy, happy birthday. Happy, happy birthday, Josephine. Okay, so anyway, tariffs. They're doing the same thing with tariffs, right? They're talking about how Trump's tariffs are going to destroy America. And I think that they don't know what the frig they're talking about, because the people that are talking about it are scholars and professors and people who work in theory and not in reality, and politicians, people who have signed the back of paychecks and not the front of paychecks. Donald Trump understands the way capitalism works. He understands the way finance works, and he understands the way this country works. So I just want to talk to you a minute about let's listen to the president. I think that it's important for us to listen to President Trump. This was him today with Maria Bartiromo, and he said a couple of good things. Yes, happy birthday, Mom. Yes, her birthday is Tuesday, but this is her birthday weekend, and we're going to roll right into Tuesday. We went out yesterday. My sister's here from New York. It's really nice. Francine wishes you happy birthday. It's great. Trump's tariffs resulted in a surplus the last 2 months, and that's how he was paying the military. So remember, government is closed right now. While they were all protesting, jumping up and down, protesting the fact that Trump won't pay for health care for illegal migrants. We don't even pay for health care for all the veterans, and they want to pay for illegal migrants, $1.4 trillion. But let's listen to our president talk to Maria about tariffs.
I'm wondering what China is thinking right now. Did Xi Jinping congratulate you about the success of the peace deal?
Well, I heard he did. There was a statement put up, but
because in the middle of
I'm meeting with him.
He squeezed the U.S. by tightening the export controls on rare earth minerals.
He did, and I raised our tariffs to 100% on top of what they're already paying, which is far worse, far worse. We'll see what happens with China. I've always had a great relationship with him, as you know. But They're always looking for an edge. You know, they ripped off our country for years. They made with Bush, with everybody. They made Obama was terrible, terrible. And you know, I really liked Ronald Reagan. I loved him as a president, but he was not good on trade. He really wasn't good on trade. On trade, he wasn't good, but he was good in many ways. But I will tell you that China, in particular, boy, they did a number on our country. They took money out. Now, it's reversed. I mean, you know, we're doing very well with China. I don't know what's going to happen. I can't tell you. We're going to meet in a couple of weeks. We're going to meet in South Korea, actually, with President Xi and other people, too. But we're going to meet. We have a separate meeting set up.
If you put that 100% tariff on top of what's in place already, you're talking about 157% tariff on China. Can that stand?
No,
I mean, what is that going to do to the economy?
It's not sustainable, but that's what the number is. It's probably not, you know, it could stand, but they forced me to do that. I think we're going to do fine with China. I get along great with him. He's a very strong leader, a very, you know, amazing man. And you look at what he's done and what he's, you know, where his life is an amazing story. It's a story for a great movie. I think we're going to be fine with China, but we have to have a fair deal. It's got to be fair. And you cover it as well as anybody that's ever covered this subject. You know, it's a very complex subject. But China has ripped us off from day one. And, you know, Richard Nixon, he allowed this to happen. You know, he was the one, he opened China. And I said, is that good or bad? You tell me. He unleashed it. And we have a very strong adversary, and they only respect strength.
So think about what he said. He talked about Reagan, he talked about Nixon, and he said that, you know, they did some things that got us into the mess that we're in right now. And it's absolutely true. I mean, Nixon opened the gateway to China, and a lot of people wound up making a lot of money out of China because it was a starving, very, very impoverished country. And it was very backwoods. But then what happened? Why was Ronald Reagan not good on trade? Well, because he started the whole NAFTA agreement. I was very young. I was a teenager. But even I, at the time, realized that NAFTA was not going to be good for America. And why did he do it? He did it because businesses, they were trying to union bust is what they were trying to do. The salaries for American workers were high, and businesses could sell the products lower if it cost less to make the products. So they used it as like an emerging nation kind of thing, emerging market. That's how they kind of labeled it. These poor people around the world, they need democracy, they need money, they're starving to death. I mean, some people that are my age, I'm 62, might remember people saying there are children starving in China, you must eat your food. So Reagan supported NAFTA because he thought that it would reduce the price of goods for Americans, which it did, and it would help spread democracy and help other countries that were kind of backwoods actually do better, less people dying and all that stuff. It did. But what it also did was it decimated America and the basis of America and what makes every country strong is their GDP, what they make and what they can make. And that's what it did to America. It wasn't great. It wasn't great. And it was, Bill Clinton that ultimately, pushed it through. But what was it called? It was called the North American Accord, was under Reagan. He supported it, and it wasn't great. No King's Day protest in Kings County. That's funny. Who would have thought Chuck Schumer was a member of DOJ? Yeah, well, he's not allowing them to pass the continuing resolution. And so now they're going to cut jobs. And that's right. That's what DOJ was trying to do. Trump doesn't have to worry about getting votes for another term, so he's just banging out his agenda. Could care less what they throw at him. It's do or die for it. Yeah, it is. It's do or die. Thank you all for my birthday wishes. Big trouble in leadership over in China right now. There is, because even with everything that's going on, their economy is still rock bottom. And I want to point out something. 250%. Yeah, you think it's going to go up that high? It might. 1,000 by 2030. Yeah, you might be right. China is loaded for bear, shot 600 nuclear warheads. Yeah, it's true. I mean, it's we've got to be very careful of China, and I love how Trump compliments Xi. I love that he does that, and I love that he compliments all the world leaders, for the most part. I mean, sometimes he tears them down, but this is smart what he's doing. Yeah, Chuck is a real pain in the neck. Real pain. How are you, Lucille? Good to have you. So here's just some things for you to think about. All right. In the 1970s, manufactured goods made up a much smaller portion of China's exports, rising from around 10.5% in 1970 to 45.3% by 1978. Today, China is the world's dominant manufacturing superpower, accounting for 29% of global manufacturing output in 2023. So if you want a comparison, in the 1970s, China's economy was still in a transitional period, with its industrial sector focused primarily on domestic needs. Manufactured goods made up a small fraction of its total trade. In 1970, manufactured goods accounted for just over 10% of China's exports. This grew significantly to 45.3% by the end of the decade in 1978 as the country began to open up more to foreign trade. Today, China's manufacturing sector has grown exponentially, making it the world's factory. In 2023, China accounted for 29% of the world's total manufactured output. The share is larger than the combined output of the next four largest manufacturing economies: the US, Japan, Germany, and India. Many products consumed globally are made in China, with some estimates suggesting 70 to 80% of consumer products come from there. Now, remember when it was Taiwan? Everything was made in Taiwan. Now it's China. Let me see. Right in the 1970s, manufacturing share of GDP in European countries was significant and varied, with West Germany and the UK being around 30%. And other countries like France and Italy were slightly lower at 25, 27%. Let's see. And what was America? Hold on a second. And the USA was 23%, and Canada was 20%. In 2023, the percentage of GDP for manufacturing from Germany, 18.5%, Italy, 15%, France, 14.5%, Finland at 20%, Denmark, 21%, Lithuania, 14.6%, Sweden, 14.2%, Canada, 10%, and the United States, 10%. Why does this matter? It matters because if we don't manufacture the things that we need here, it's easy. If you choke off our supply chain, then you destroy our country. And so why Trump is doing the tariffs is because he knows that we will be on our knees if China decides to say, you know what, we're not going to sell to you anymore. He knows right now that won't be the case because they need the money. But if they get like an infusion from somewhere, and they can't right now because Russia is, especially now that Trump's telling everybody they can't buy Russian oil. So Russia's economy is shaky. Everybody's economy is shaky right now. Ours, not so much, because we have the ability, we're a consumer nation, but we have the ability to actually manufacture because we have the ore, we have the oil, we have the manpower, we have all that stuff. And we have not only our army with all of our brilliant missiles and things like that, but we also have a civilian army in each and every state with the fact that we own our own guns. So, worldwide, we are in the better shape of anybody, right? For us to now say we need to make stuff in America, and we can afford to do it. So what Trump is trying to do is bring the Chinese companies here so that they could be subject to our laws, that they could be subject to our intellectual properties laws and rights, human rights, that we could see what they're doing to our pharmaceutical stuff. I mean, he wants to make sure that we get to spy on China, because right now, our pharmaceuticals are made in China. They could do anything to us. The fentanyl is just one of the things they do to us. Kids' little ass make a better deal. You're right. Quality control, Six Sigma does not happen in mainland China. You're right. Why don't these people realize how important it is for us to be self-sufficient? I guess the left are so used to talking that it's unfathomable to them to appreciate self-sufficiency. Well, first of all, you got to remember something. The young kids, a good percentage of them are high now, and a lot of them are hallucinating, and we're seeing that with the young Republicans, with the Democrats. Look at how these young people are in the streets losing their minds. And even this TDS, if you are being bamboozled over and over again, climate change, right? Oh, the world is going to disintegrate. That these bad people are doing these bad things to you, yada, 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 yada. This stuff keeps on getting pounded into your brain while you're smoking a ton of this very, very heavy duty pot, which they're saying now that the stuff coming out of the dispensaries are different than the stuff being sold on the street, and that there's a lot of hallucinating going on with the stuff that they're selling out of the dispensary. So these kids are just losing their minds. The fact that they're thinking that socialism is the way to go. I mean, there's a lot of stuff that's going on that is just China's got a good foothold here. Our enemies have a good foothold here. And it's up to us now to stop it. And it's not going to be the kids. The parents have to take their kids in hand. And everybody's got to get their head out of their phone. Because I've said it before, the Candy Crush, the Farmland, all these little games, these free games, and the goal is to sell you stuff, product, all the advertising. But there's more than that goes on with that. There's like subliminal messaging going on in there, and it's a repetition of blinking lights and things like that, and it can drive you crazy. It can really drive you crazy. So we need to, without sounding like a lunatic, we need to really get our hands around this, and Trump's got his hands around it. So him saying that we're going to put 150% tariffs on China is not a bad thing. He's taking a stand, and because we do have the upper hand. Right now, it might be painful for us, but it's not going to be as painful for us as it will be for the Chinese, because millions of their people will die if we stop purchasing their stuff. And if we start making a deal with Europe and, with what did I say? Who was the ones that were doing pretty good right now? Not France. It was, Finland. Finland's doing pretty good. Denmark's doing pretty good. Lithuania. If we start, Germany, if we start purchasing stuff from there, I make better deals with them, where they do have human rights and they do have a similar form of government, China will go right back to where it was before the 1970s. Is the opium of the people. Yeah, it is the opium. Listen, I've always been for marijuana, that marijuana shouldn't be illegal, but I don't want the government involved in the growing of it, because there's always something wrong when the government is involved with it. And that's what's going on. A lot of this cannabis shit, the government is involved in it, and it's just not good. So what do you think? Do you think that we could survive this tariff situation? Do you think our kids will start to want to work in manufacturing? Do you think that there will be people to manufacture? I don't know. I agree. It's really disturbing how much time people spend on phones and games. It's destroying social skills in addition to inciting mental illness. It is. This was a multifaceted attack on our society. And, the thing is, when you're fat and comfortable and you can get anything you want in a blink of an eye, then your problems, your real problems are few and far between. But when you're starving and your kids are starving and you can't, you don't have a roof over your head, all of a sudden you start to look at things in a different way. And that's where we're headed. And I, for one, don't mind if we are not such a consumer nation going forward. We always will be, but maybe not the way we're consuming right now. We need to start working with our hands and our heads, and we need to get exactly where we are right now. We're recognizing what our universities are doing, our schools are doing, our the pharmaceutical companies are doing. We see it now, and they can call us every name in the book, but we see it and we're acting on it, and that's important. Okay, we went over as usual. It's high-tech manufacturing, though. Semiconductors, data centers, robotics, yes, all that, but we're also going to need clothing and sheets and farming and tools, and we're going to have to drill for oil. I mean, there's stuff that men and women still need to do. Putting together cars. We need all of this stuff. Right now, what he's bringing over is a lot of high-tech stuff, but he's going to bring over everything. Bring home everything, because that's the only way we could be self-sufficient. And we just need to keep hold of the House and the Senate this next go round, because if we don't, everything that he worked for will be gone. We have too much at our fingertips in a society of instant gratification. You said it. If it wasn't for mental illness, you're right. So we have to figure out how to undo the mental illness. I mean, obviously there are some young people that are swaying in the right direction. So we've got to see. All right. Thanks all for joining me on this Sunday night birthday weekend for Josephine Nastasi. You are wonderful. I love you. I will see you tomorrow night, and hopefully we'll have lots more to talk about. Thanks for joining me. Love spending my evenings with you. Until tomorrow.